Welcome to everybody to episode 26 of Pleasure Explosion. My name is Nicholas Pryor and I'm joined today by Ashley Hobley.
Hey everybody.
Dylan Blight.
What's up? What's up? How you going?
Jack Cruz.
Cause I play them too.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But I need some time. Hello.
John O'Peck.
Sure boy.
And Thomas Marshall.
You were clicking far too quick for that, Jack.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not. He's not. You can tell he's not very musically.
To be fair, I was
all.
seeing the Limp Bizkit cover. I wasn't seeing the original.
That
song,
still doesn't help.
Yeah, no.
It's a bit quick.
That still doesn't help your beat to
The beat was a bit quicker in that.
BP. That doesn't help your BPM at all.
You're just taking points away from yourself at this point.
Hey, Limp Bizkit is a very respectable musical group.
Nick, why would Jack be singing today's
Jack
opening?
would be singing today because a few weeks ago I posed the question. I wanted everybody's top 5 personal albums.
Hell of a question.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
In order, right?
I've struggled.
From 5 to 1.
No, in any particular, I gave no rules whatsoever, so it could be anything. It's just your top 5 to you.
It's very noble of you.
Well, thank you. Okay. I was going to start with Jono, but he decided to disappear. For those who don't know, we do use Hangouts, and Jono just fucked off.
And then there were 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how the Explosion Network got reduced.
Hey, I was almost going to say this is the first time the original 6 have been all back together for the
like
first
a
time in a
month.
little while, yeah. And then
Because Dylan's been
fucked off.
avoiding the show like the plague.
There he is.
And nothing ever happened.
And it was
You can edit all this out. Like magic.
Please continue.
It's not happening.
Well, he was asking you a question, Jono, and then all of a sudden you weren't there.
I was hoping that it was I could just come in and no one would notice that I was gone.
The only thing we talked about
Sorry.
was that you weren't there anymore.
Sorry. I apologise again.
All right, so the way today's going to work is I'm going to get you all to say one album each in turn, and then a little bit about that album, what it means to you, why it's in your top 5, your memories with it, so that sort of thing. And then at the end, if we have time, we're going to go to a few honourable mentions.
A few.
All right,
Sounds great.
excrement.
Jono, I'm going to start with you. How hard was it you to create your top 5 list?
It was pretty difficult. I thankfully had done a similar exercise about 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and my taste hasn't changed very much. So
Yeah, lucky
That-
no new
that helped
music's
out a
come
lot.
out.
pretty much.
No decent music.
No, I'm very. My musical tastes are very of a certain period of my life, and they haven't progressed very much since then. So that helped in some regard.
That's fair. All right, what's your first album on the list? Is yours in
album
order,
is-
by the way?
No, definitely
No?
not.
Okay.
That would be way too hard.
Definitely.
So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World, which came out in 2001.
Good album.
So it's not,
Good.
but into that kind of emo music. It's something I found myself going back to more and more. And after seeing Jimmy Eat World live in like 2009 or 10, it's just an album that I always feel myself wanting to listen to. It's all pop punk and emo, but none of the songs on it sound the same as each other. They're party songs, there's anthems, sad songs, there's ones that will get you hyped, and it's just a great ride to listen to from start to finish. And there's no weak link. Like, I think that's something that I look for when I pick one of my best albums. There can't be like sections of it that I skip through anytime.
That's it.
And it's
Is
just
that-
sorry.
Does that album have the middle on it?
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Which is probably,
That's
if
about
I
the
am
only
going to...
song I
And
know.
no,
if I-
no, that's a different band. That's Millen
No, that's Mill and Colin. If I am going to skip a song, it would be the middle, just because it's something that gets
Really?
played on the radio all the
overplayed,
time.
yeah.
It's like all the small things, you know? It's something that's been played so much in movies and the radio that I don't feel like I need to listen to that one as much.
Do the middle for me for a second.
It
Hey,
just takes some time,
don't run myself
little girl,
over.
you
Oh,
will.
yeah.
Yeah, I sang the chorus, Jack sang the first verse, so that worked.
I'm pretty sure we sang that in a car on the way to Kind of Funny Life 3, maybe.
To Wing Wings?
Sounds
Probably,
like
yeah.
something you two fucks would do.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Anyway,
Well, there
it's
was
a
Probably
It's-
sang every song ever on the way too.
There's some really cool stuff on there, like musical composition, different rhythms, playing on offbeats, and there's some cool stereo effects where like the guitars were playing in left ear, right ear. So it's just really well produced, and I think that adds to it as well.
Now, everyone, give it a score out of 10.
I'm rating all my albums 10 if this is a real thing.
Bleed America is a
No,
good song.
pass.
That's a great
I
album.
think you,
I don't
I
have a
think you
score for it,
argued
though.
why that was a good album quite well, John. I give
Yeah,
it-
very
Thanks, Tom.
descriptive.
Give you a
I'm a little bit
9.
nervous about giving mine now. I'm like, I like that
we
the songs are
accept it
good.
on your top 5.
I feel like as a musician, I have to kind of explain
Justify.
why things are good. Like, it's one thing to say that something's good, but to actually be able to explain it is a bit of a challenge, I think. So
I like the songs. The songs are good.
they make me
What's the
feel
album
good.
called?
Oh no, you've taken my
Bleed
argument.
America.
Okay.
Ashley,
Yes.
I know when I posed a question to you, you were like, I don't have any top albums. So, how hard was it
Did
for
he?
you?
Did I?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Probably.
did.
I didn't have a list prepared or anything, but yeah, it's taken a little while to whittle down. A lot of listening to Spotify over the last 4 weeks or so. So, yeah, I went in order because I thought that's what we were doing. Because that's
Good man.
Atta
Good
boy.
man.
You did well.
You can
did
do it in
right.
order. I'll let you.
fun. Yeah. So
Do you
number
want to start
5
with
for
your
me
fifth or your first?
is
Fifth?
Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie. I think I got into Death Cab for Cutie when the OC was around because there was a lot of. I tend to listen to music on like TV shows and movies and then look for it afterwards, and I'm pretty sure that's how I found them. So yeah, that's probably the one of their albums I like the most. I mean, Plans and Narrow Stairs are very good as well, but yeah, Transatlanticism is the one I prefer the most. It's
What
just one of
genre
those.
music are they?
They're alt
Indie.
rock, I guess.
Indie music.
rock,
Yeah.
is the term. Yeah,
Indie rock's about
Indie
right
rock,
for them,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I don't think I've... do they have any well-known songs?
Probably, but not
I
like
will-
massive radio hits. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
I
Like,
will follow you into the dark is probably their
Dark,
most well known.
That's
There's a lot of covers of
I'll
it.
have to
bunch of
look at
shows
been
and
in
stuff.
I reckon if you heard... Yeah, I reckon it's one of those songs that's like, you're like, I have no idea what it is, and then
Yeah,
maybe
you
if you
hear
listen
it.
to it, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what that is.
The
Yeah.
sound of settling is in Wedding Crashes, so everyone's probably heard that track.
Haven't
I
seen
don't
the
believe
movie.
I've ever seen that movie.
Haven't seen
They
Wedding
were quite
Crashes?
popular around that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the movie.
You should do that. It's fantastic.
You should.
You haven't seen
It's
Wedding
I'll get
fantastic.
around to it one day.
If
Alright,
if you,
Thomas Marshall.
Oh shit! I'm paying attention.
Pressure's on.
there's no set order. It's just surprising when you get your name called.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
You got to make sure you pay attention.
Keeping us on our toes.
How difficult was for you to make your top 5 list?
I probably spent the best part of an evening doing it. Like the day that you first announced
one
that it
evening?
was time.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, I can do that. And yeah, I think my list
Was
of
there a
albums I kind of
montage?
came up with from the top of my head, and like going through my Spotify library and my iTunes library, top played and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think I had like 20 odd albums on there that I slowly cut out for one reason or another.
Yep.
To my 5 plus a bunch of. I've got honourable mentions and notable omissions, but I think I spent a couple of hours one evening on it. So
I remember you saying it was hard to differentiate your top albums from your top bands.
yeah, so I actually at the same time, and on the note that I've written my top 5 albums, I've also got my top 5 bands.
Yep.
Yeah, which there's a fair bit of carryover, but yeah, I found
Shocking.
myself quite stuck just naming
Yeah.
artists
I
that I
mean,
like, but
I
not particular
understand this.
albums for a particular reason, and that sort of helped me put into the top albums and honorable mentions for albums that I really like for the albums and ones that I really like for the bands. So
Yeah, definitely.
It's on that note, side note on the album, the like artist album thing. It's like I'd say if it was doing top artists, I'd have like Motley Crue on my shortlist. However,
Yeah.
I think I had like 40 odd albums. Not a single one of them was Motley Crue. However, Motley Crue is one of my favorite bands. It's just
All
none
the
of their
songs
albums
are spread out. Yeah.
They're across
That-
different
that's-
albums and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
I-
I'll
That's
give
how
you-
I kind of feel like...
I'll
Yeah.
give you my notable omission first. Then the person
Yeah.
who is certainly on my list of favorite artists, but didn't get an album either on
Spoilers
the
for a
honorable
future
mentions
episode.
or on my top 5. Spoilers for a future episode is Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who
How do I kick Tom from the hangout?
I have quite an affinity for Taylor Swift, and it started even I think with her second album. I was listening to the first two that are quite country before sort of the ones she's made.
I reckon her last album's fine.
Yeah, but I couldn't
whatever
pick
it's
one
called.
to be a top album of mine for being an album. But as an artist, I like
fair.
all the stuff she does. So she's
So
not
are
on the list.
Is your albums in order from 5 to 1?
My albums are in an order, and that order is alphabetical.
Right.
Are you reading them
Start from the middle,
A to Z alphabetical or Z to A alphabetical?
It's A to
Because
Z.
we're going 5 to 1.
It's A to Z alphabetical, but alphabetical on the artist, not on the album name.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And the does not count in an artist name.
Yeah, it
No,
doesn't.
it
I'm
never
glad.
does for alphabetical.
We
A
went
to
school
Z.
to some point.
I know some places
All
still
right, I want
add
you to start at
the.
number 3.
If you're looking for a movie in some places, you need to put the. It orders the.
Well, they're doing it wrong.
If you
Yes.
want the third album on my list, Nick.
No, for fuck's sake, just
Okay. The first one is My Aim Is True by Elvis Costello.
Oh, interesting.
Jesus Christ.
I hope that's because it's on your list as well, Dylan.
No, it's just interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
different.
like fantastic
neat.
album. Like I can listen to the deluxe edition of that with sort of the studio sessions and stuff on repeat and not get bored. And as a sort of a common theme from my list of albums and was mentioned on our Dad's episode the other week, my list is quite heavily inspired by the music my dad liked and used to listen to.
Yeah.
And that's a big album. It's Elvis Costello's first, and maybe not necessarily his best, but it's certainly my favourite.
Great work.
Did he used to like it because he got a better taste of music?
Savage.
I think I missed something there.
This is
Don't
the
worry.
judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
No,
Nick threw
I'm
a
very...
shade.
Judgment is
No.
open and...
Nick did this
accepted.
topic so he could judge everyone.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I think that's true of every topic that Nick does.
Still deciding if he wants to be friends with us or not.
Yeah.
Dylan,
What up?
how
Welcome to
hard was
my
it for you?
very fucking hard. I've spent the last couple of days complaining in our group chat, as everyone's aware, of how much of a struggle picking this list was.
When did you
Tom
start
just kept
doing it?
telling me it was easy. I started the day he said.
When did you
I
actually
had-
start,
I-
though?
Like my short list or ordering them? Mine are in order, 1 to 10. I'm only doing 5. Obviously, 6 to 10 can be
'Cause that's
honorable
all I
mentions,
asked for.
however.
That's a good effort getting it down to 10.
I had 40 odd albums on my list. 50 something if you count. I started listing soundtracks. At some point, I decided I'm not counting soundtracks in my list. So then I got rid of the soundtracks. And I had like 40 something, and I've whittled them down to 10. And then once there was 10, I'm like, cool, well, there's the top 5 solved. But I found it easier to do top 10 for some reason.
So what was your
a list.
reasoning to exclude soundtracks?
I don't know. I just made. You said the rules are whatever that you want them to be, and in my mind,
Yeah.
I just made the rule for myself that I just don't want soundtracks to be a part of it. So
That's true. That's fair
I
enough.
got rid of them. I was like, I just want proper albums. But I could do like a separate top 10. I mean, that's a completely separate thing. Soundtracks, anyway. It's a different list, different
That could
reasons
be a
for
good
why they're my
topic for
favorite.
the future.
So it could be
something.
a separate thing. But yes, I found it quite hard and annoying, and I feel I'm still like, would this change tomorrow, or like it's one of
They
those.
probably
types-
would, most of us.
It probably would. Okay, so my number 5 is, I don't know,
Just say it.
Tension by Die Antwood, which is
Very, yeah.
for
That's a
people
solid-
who don't know who they are. They are the rap group that featured in the movie Chappie. If anyone watched that. Dun, tick tock, tick tock. No one watched Chappie.
Are they South African?
They're a South African
are,
rap
they are
group.
South African.
They're a South African rap group.
Have you spoken
They are-
about them before? Because I recognise the name.
Quite possibly, they're one of my favourite bands of all time.
Yeah.
So,
So it's
Groups
probably
or
come up
whatever
on the
they're called.
blog or something.
When you, I reckon I
their
heard
music
it.
has been on the vlog.
Yeah, when I heard you say Die Antwood, I reckon it would have been on your vlog. I'm like, I wonder who she is.
That's not. I mean, there is a girl.
Jack's
Well,
immediate
they are-
reaction is she hot?
That's their second album, isn't it, Dylan?
Tension's their second album. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I think it's
Is that
their
the one
best.
with
It's got Fatty Fatty Boom Boom and stuff like that on it.
She's on
Not the one
Fire?
with Cookie. She's on Fire's on it.
Yeah, that's my favorite song.
The third album's the one with like Cookie Thumper and stuff like that, which is a really creepy song. People who don't know what they are like they're a stylish, weird as fuck rap group. It's a guy and a girl from South Africa. They basically play characters. The rap and their all of their songs for the most part are just fun. Like they're so ridiculous and stupid. The lyrics, if you listen to them, are fucking crazy. Heavily sexually inspired. One of their songs on their first album is some of the raunchiest fucking shit I've ever heard, like described to do with sex on on tape. They're very weird, and if you ever watch any of their music videos, you automatically think it's the weirdest shit you've ever seen in your life, or like the best thing ever. So, and I think it's quite possibly some of the best stuff. Some of my
I
favorite
remember
stuff.
my first exposure to them was the video for "I Think You're Freaky."
Yeah,
that was
that's this album. So
Yeah.
I think
They also
and
sing in
I like you a
Afrikaans
lot.
as well as English.
Yeah, so yeah, their rap's interesting because they mix up between speaking in Afrikaans and like English and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, Tension, great album. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. I've got it on vinyl, put it on. You're just like, it's a lot of bass, a lot of weird lyrics, and it's just fun.
How'd you find them? Did you find them from watching Chappie or?
No, their song "Enter the Ninja" off their first album was like viral when it came out on the internet. I remember seeing the video for that go around heaps and heaps. At the time, I thought it was a parody of something because it's so stupid. Because it opens with this dude. He's like talking about Chi and Chang, and there's like got the symbols, and he's like, "Enter the ninja, du-du-du-du, I am a ninja," and he's like starts doing all this weird stuff, and I was like, this has to be from a movie I've never seen. It has to be like a comedy, and then you find out that nope, that is Ninja, and that is Yolandi, and that is the group. You love them or hate them.
Yeah, I definitely suggest checking them out too.
They're great. They're breaking up soon. One more album, they're done. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, Jack, you're next.
Nearly forgot me.
No, I could never.
Hey,
think of
Jack.
you.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that.
Jack, how hard was it for you to whittle it down to your top 5?
Top 5 was actually really easy. Like, pretty much
Really?
as soon as you mentioned the topic, I was
That's
like...
right. You have top 10 lists for everything.
I have my list for everything, except, funnily enough, did not have a list for my top 5 albums, or top list of albums. So I've songs and bands and stuff like that, but did not have one.
So thanks, Nick, for
Yeah,
making
so thank you,
credit.
Nick. Now I have another list
You're
to
welcome.
add to my list of lists. So thank you for that. But the top,
What's,
like
your top,
putting together
what's in your top 5 lists?
top 5 list
That's a topic for
is,
another show.
Top 5 list of
is-
top 5 lists.
No, my top 5, anyway. Well, I could go down this rabbit hole, but we
His
could be here a
backlog.
while.
Are yours numbered?
Yes, mine are numbered. It was easy enough for me to put together. Funny, I was talking to Ash about this before. It was easy to put together the top 5 because it was like pretty much as soon as you said it, I was like, I know what my top 5. Like, I had to think about it for a minute, but I was like, yep, that one. Yep, pretty much done. And then, but it was more the going down the rabbit hole of like the honorable mentions and stuff like that, and making sure I didn't forget anything. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that album, and all the way up until today, I was still remembering, like in the shower this morning, listening to having music on and hearing that there was remembering a song comes on, remembering that album, going, oh fuck, I could put that in there. So I had a good time doing this. So thank you, Nick. It was good fun putting this together.
You're welcome.
Number 5 for me is State of the Art by Hilltop Hoods. It's obviously my favourite Hilltop Hoods album, being that it's number 5 on my list. Spoilers, there's no more Hilltop Hood albums in the rest of the top 4. I remember buying this album right around when it came out, and it was a really weird point in time in my life where I just tried to join the Navy and did not get in, and I remember being like really like upset afterwards with like not getting in and going to...
How do you not get in?
This is a long story.
You get
I can save
seasick.
for another episode. Yeah, let's say that. But I remember going to the JB Hi-Fi in the city afterwards and like looking for a birthday present for my dad and bought him like a couple of things, and then seeing, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna buy that. And I remember putting it on, listening to it like all the way home, and it had it on like repeat, just driving around for
Was this your first Hilltop Hoods record?
No. I
Okay.
had all the other ones, but I remember like
Okay.
not having picked it up straight away, and then I'm very rare. Like I would very rarely buy CDs back in the day, so it would be like on the iPod or whatever. So yeah, I remember just like driving around with it on repeat for like a month afterwards, and it's one of the like all the albums in my list. I can like every single song is good or great, and I can listen to the entire album without skipping a song.
Yeah, that's my rule for albums as well. It's like you need to be able to listen
Yeah.
to like older songs.
Yeah, and it just flows, and it's got a bit of everything. It's got a bit of like old school sort of Hilltop Hoods. It's got some newer stuff. It's got some really great songs. Like 50 and 5 is one of my favourite Hilltop Hood songs. Probably my favourite song on the album would be Chris Farley. Just an awesome like get you pumped up sort of like song. And
You know what
this-
mine is?
what's that?
Because she's so ugly.
Yes,
Nobody-
that one as well. Yeah,
Does that album,
that's probably my.
Does that?
Sorry, go.
Sorry, does that album have nosebleed section on it?
No, that's
no,
the calling.
that's the calling.
Yeah,
That's the only song of theirs I know.
that's like I think
know
that's
Cosby
their first
Sweater.
studio album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cosby
yeah, that
Sweater was
one.
huge on the radio.
It's
So.
beat
Yeah.
me to death on the radio.
Yeah, that's in one of their newer ones. But yeah, so that's around 2010, I think, or 2000. Yeah, it would have been 2010 that album. came out.
2009.
2009,
I just
there you
checked
go.
for you.
So yeah, awesome album. Absolutely love it.
It's a great album.
It's me now. Hey,
How difficult
I've
was
never
it
heard
for
of
you,
Pose
it.
this
Nick?
question. I thought I had a clear top 5, but it turns out I don't. I have a top 4, and the 5th just changes depending on the time of day. For
Nick's
me,
Nonsensical Sunday, top 5.
That's it. Nothing about me makes sense.
Okay, so what's your
as
number
hard
5
as I
today?
because every day I would curate it because I listen to work every day, all day at work, and I would curate it like just swapping out in and out albums, and there was always the top 4 that just stayed there all the time, and then the 5th I just couldn't decide on. So I'll decide on it last.
It could be anything.
It's out of it. It's out of a roster, but yeah, it depends what I feel like. So my first one, in no particular order, is Blast Tyrant by Clutch. Clutch aren't a very well-known band, at least
I'm a
to
Clutch
my
fan.
knowledge. You are? Yeah, a lot of people that I talk to have no idea who they are. I first discovered them with their song Bang 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 off the Left 4 Dead 2 trailer. And after that, I bought all their albums, and just Blast Tyrant is their most solid album. It's just, each song is a different style. They're classified as like a stoner rock, but each album is different, like a different style. They seem to evolve. And I think Blast Tyrant's their 5th album. Yeah, and
2011.
2011.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I don't know what album it is. I was trying to find the name of my favorite one, which is Robot High of Exodius.
Yeah, I don't think that's their greatest. Has anyone else ever heard of Clutch?
Nope.
Other than Dylan?
No.
No,
You're all bad people.
John and Mike. I'm a Clutch. The first time I heard Clutch was from Viva La Band,
Okay.
Right.
I may have
and
heard
that's
it.
why I've listened to them. They've played on one of the episodes of the show. A lot of my music taste comes from that. A lot of my life basically comes from Viva La Band. It's no rule,
established, yeah.
and this will come up again, which is fine. But yeah, Clutch had appeared on one episode of Viva La Band, and I think they played Mice and Gods, which is off that album, Robot High of Exodius.
Good song.
Or I think it was that song. I think they played it live, like while they were doing fucking like snow sleds, backflip bullshit in the background
Yeah.
or something like that. And it was one of those like, it was like, oh, Clutch, right? Google download. At the time, illegally download a lot of Clutch. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
my
assume
favourite song of
illegally,
The
yeah.
album is called
Yeah.
Regulator, and it's a real slow, autistic, acoustic song.
I actually listened. I have to listen
It's
to a
on the
lot of Clutch.
spectrum.
I got a new Till I See at work. Clutch is his favorite band. Every time I come into work,
really?
he's got Clutch playing in the background. That's
Sounds
what he
like a
puts
good
on.
dude.
Yeah. So there you
And
go.
the quality of their albums hasn't seemed to dip either. They just seem to be good or getting better. All right, that's my first one done. Let's
Jeez.
go back to
This
you,
is
Jono.
going to
Number
settle
2.
in, listeners. This is going to be a long one. What? We're 20 minutes in now?
25.
Yeah.
No honourable mentions.
It won't be as long if you don't spend 5 minutes talking about how it's so long.
Or throwing out Taylor Swift references for some reason.
That was
My
important omission.
yeah, well,
That was
we're
important
not
to
up
me.
to that bit yet, Tom. We're doing our top 5, aren't we?
It just felt good at the
Right.
time.
Rules are, there are no rules.
So I'd like to talk about a time where... No, I'm just going to actually answer the question. 2005 plans. I'm glad that Ashley mentioned Death Cab for Cutie, so I don't have to explain who they are. Plans is everything that Ashley described. To me, it's like art. Like, it's perfect. Sonically speaking, like, it's so thoughtful and considered the way that the music and the
fast.
So the band is Death Cab for Cutie. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
cool.
Okay, right.
did I skip past that?
You
No, you
said
said-
2005's plans, and I'm like, and then you said the Death
No.
Cab for Cutie.
And
thing.
then
And then I said, I'm so glad that Ashley
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah, yeah.
Death Cab.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
what I mean. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, gotcha.
And then you said Sonic, and I made a go fast joke.
Yes, Sonic Mania. No, I said sonically, I find it really thoughtful and considered how the music and lyrics match up so well, and they're written perfectly to convey a mood and tell a story. And it's not like, here's this experience I went through. It's often, it's like poetry telling a story. It's not trying to be cool. It's not pretentious. It's just like an earnest effort to make really great music with vivid imagery. And it's something that I always, me and my brother, anytime we'd go to Melbourne to see a show on the long drive back to Warrnambool or Geelong, we'd always listen to Death Cab, and often Plans. So 2005, it's going to be a reoccurring theme for the rest of my top 5, because it seemed to be a really good year for the kind of music I like.
yeah, those two were interchangeable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
Tough call between those two.
Yeah.
Thomas. Number 2.
My second album, in alphabetical order, is Setting Suns, which is an album by The Jam, who I imagine most of you haven't heard of.
I have not.
No.
Yep.
They're an English punk sort of mod band in the late 70s, early 80s. They were together. Their fourth studio album, just again sort of inspired by Dad. Outstanding. Yeah, I love it. They're sort of
Was your dad a punk?
Sorry,
Was your dad a punk?
I'm not sure.
His
Because
dad's
you just
getting
mentioned two artists that are kind of attached to the punk movement in that
Yeah.
area. Yeah. With
Yeah.
Costello. Yeah. Interesting.
Him-
He may have had a
I know.
mohawk.
Yeah, I know he dyed his hair green one time, but
There you go. He's a punk.
There you go, Punk. Or the Joker.
I can't say much
It's
more
either
than
the
that.
punk or a Batman.
There's also in
villain.
a band called the Sex Pistols.
I was about to say Sex Pistols and The Clash are coming up very soon on Tom's list, I think.
They're actually not. They're not on honourable mentions either.
Shit, I've got to change this.
It changes. It changes a little bit after here. This is my sort of
homage.
late 70s albums section, and we move into slightly more present day soon.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I The Jam are probably my favourite band, and certainly Paul Weller. He's a name that will come up again soon. He was the lead singer and guitarist, and he's sort of the favourite artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So his very early work. I've got one of their albums framed and on the wall in the kitchen, and yeah,
Oh.
it was choosing one of their albums, and that's what I went with.
Ashley.
Cool. My number 4 is Infinity on High by Fall Out Boy. Yeah, I really
Fantastic.
liked Fall Out Boy, so that's the
Fall
one
Out
that's the one I've had. Normally, when I get albums, I just have them all by the same artist and like dump them all together in a playlist. So yeah, this is the one that I have the most songs that I like, and pretty much almost every single song on this album I pretty much would listen to without skipping or anything. So
How do you do that playlist? Do you do the playlist like random of all the artists, or do you do them like
Depends
album
on the
by
day.
album? Okay.
yeah,
My versions of those playlists go like chronological order of release of the album down the
Yeah.
playlist. Yeah.
Do you have a OCD by any chance, Thomas?
no,
No, not a hint of it.
Ash, I'm interested that you picked this as your favourite Fall Out Boy album. What's your favourite like songs on this one?
Probably Bang the Doldrums and
Yes.
Thanks for Memories and
Yeah.
Even
I love
though the
Bang the
words
Doldrums.
sound
So
good.
that's the Thanks for Memories album.
yeah.
I didn't come into that sort of genre until later in life because at the time when it came out, it had very stigmatized. Oh, that's emo.
Yeah, there
And
was
I'd never really listened to any like My Chemical Romance
When
or
I
Fall Out Boy or
was
anything like that.
I never got into
boy.
any of these bands. Jimmy Eat World, Death Cab for Cutie, Fall Out
Yeah.
Boy. I never got into any
Yeah,
of
so
them.
this was
A
my
lot of
jam
that has been
growing
very
up.
recent
These-
for me.
These were
Like
my
I'd
jam.
just go to an artist and go start radio, and there's all the songs like that would just play. All right. Do you have anything else to say, Ashley?
no. You should just listen to it though.
I believe I may have listened to songs from it.
I refuse.
It is
Who's
really,
next,
it is
mate?
excellent.
Yeah.
Jack, you're next.
Oh, he's just
No,
switching
wasn't
up.
Dylan next?
Yeah.
You
There's
forgot
no
Jack.
rules.
There are no rules.
Dylan's next, and then we forget that Jack exists. But I think at this time we've forgotten that Dylan exists, and we're going straight
So,
into Jack.
continuing on the emo train, my number 4 album is "Tell All Your Friends" by. I've taken back Sunday. Sorry, I'm just bloody.
I was going to say, by you tell me, it's not my album.
Just had a brain aneurysm. This album came about at a time in my life when I was like a very formative time. So this pretty much it determined my genre of music all through high school. Like I started listening to these guys when I was like in year 8, I was 7, I think. No, it would have been year 8. I started listening to Taking Back Sunday, and I remember "Cute Without the E" cut from the team on that album was just like my favorite song for years, and it is probably one of my favorite songs. And just another one of those albums you can listen to all the way through, and just it was a very seminal album in my life. Just at the time that I started listening to it, and it sort of shaped my music listening sort of tastes, I guess, all through high school and pretty much up until now as well. So. Yeah, really good album. I mean, if emo music and punk rock and that kind of stuff isn't your thing, you're not going to enjoy it. But Taking Back Sunday are a really good band, and that's like that album's probably their best album they've ever done. It's their first studio album.
Yeah. I may have listened to songs of these before, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I'd probably
like you
know
would have
them if I
heard. You would have
them.
heard like "Make Damn Sure"
Yeah.
was probably their biggest song that they've done, which
Yeah.
was like 2007. That song came out.
Yeah.
And they've had some other ones like the cute. They sort of "Cute Without the E" cut from the team, which was like the lead song on that album was it was on the album for Fight Club, which is sort of how they got their sort of, I guess, their
Big break?
exposure. Yeah, the big break, and they toured with like Blink-182 and stuff like that, and they've been with some big bands. They've come to Australia a few times, and I've seen them, so they're one of my favourite bands, and that album's awesome.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Dylan.
It's funny how I'm just looking the we've done 10 albums now, and it's kind of the Explosion Network's currently standing out as a punk emo playlist we got going on majority so far.
There's a lot of that being like early mid 2000s as well.
Thousands
Yeah.
as well, yeah. Kind of
The age
'cause
where
of
we
the
were
age, I
teenagers.
suppose. The
Yeah.
age, yeah.
Yeah.
Except me.
All right, my
Yeah.
number 4.
Well,
My number 4 is Ceremonials by Florence and the Machine. I reckon all of Florence and the Machine's albums are great. I could have picked Dog Days Are Over, but Ceremonials...
Yeah, I think that would be my favourite of theirs.
I mean, I love both albums. I kind of just picked Ceremonials because it has a couple more songs on it that I really, really love and stand out to me. Plus, if you... It's like a cheat question. Like, you can say that the deluxe edition, which is what I own as well, of Ceremonials, has the Dog Days. It has a couple acoustic tracks on it, including strong songs from the other album. So you can cheat. But like this, I just kind of picked this one over Dog Days because it has What Water Gave Me on it, which is like probably one of my favorite songs of all time. If
Spectrum,
we
which
was
is
doing
an
a
awesome
list.
song. I love
And
Spectrum.
I remember my first exposure to them was at the gym, and they were on one of the music stations.
That's a really
and
weird place for them to be.
yeah.
The video, it was like Channel V or something like that.
Yeah.
And the video was, I can't remember the song for the life of me, is the video where she's falling off a roof or something like that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I've
me
watched
either.
all their videos. I'm not a big music video person. Half the time, I don't even. They'll be like, "Oh, you really love them? Did you see the music video for that song?" I'm like, "Nah, don't really watch music videos." Sorry.
No.
Uh,
It's kind of a niche thing
Watson,
now,
yeah.
isn't it? Music videos.
Yeah, it's just
These
I don't-
days
I
they
don't
are.
really watch
Yeah,
it.
they're not really the big thing they used to be, are they?
No. But yeah, Florence. Anything Florence Welch touches, I'll listen to it. That and shout out to that track she did with Dizzy Rascal that one year when he was really big. I can't remember the song.
Dizzy
but they did
Rascal?
it. Yeah, they did a
Remember
mix up on
Bonkers?
MTV.
Yeah.
That was the song. It was Bonkers with something else, and it was Florence and Dizzy Rascal on stage at the MTV Awards or something like that. And I listened to it like a week ago. It was on somewhere, and I was like, for some reason, this is still good. And then I was like, Google Dizzy Rascal. I'm like, fuck, he put out an album like 3 weeks ago.
Very
That song
niche.
went off at the Rosie pub.
Tangent.
All right, my next album is. It come at a time where it was very influential to me. I remember listening to it in my cousin's car when I was still in primary school, and I was thinking, "Oh fuck, this is hardcore. I shouldn't be listening to this at this age." I absolutely love it, and that album is "Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water" by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, get around him. I fucking love. That's in my honorable mentions. I fucking love that album.
That album is just. I listen to it all the fucking time. and
As an 11-year-old,
just-
10-year-old kid when that came out, how
Yeah.
good was that fucking shit?
I know, it
Ugh.
was fantastic. And it's just every song bar the one with Exhibit.
Oh, I like that
and
one.
The,
Racist.
and the stupid remix they added at the end.
Yeah, the remix of
Don't know
Roland
why that's
sucks.
there.
I
Yeah.
like
That's the only Limp Bizkit song I like.
the remix
the
of
remix.
Roland.
No, just Rollin'.
Oh, Roland, yeah.
That's it.
They're,
That's the only song.
Their cover of Behind Blue Eyes was
Behind
alright.
us, yeah.
That wasn't
Yeah,
on
that
that
was pretty
album.
It wasn't on that album, but that's nice
It's
to know,
Limp
Tom.
Bizkit.
I'm not a big rap rock
love
fan,
rap
I
rock.
suppose. There's some bias.
Yeah, I love rap rock. It's just, yeah. It just come at a time where it was very influential to me, and I still love it to this day.
Was it Get Your Groove On? Was that the one with Exhibit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I
Why
like
did
every
Exhibit-
song on
it
that
just-
album.
It was good. It just changed. It was just like at a different
Yeah, yeah.
mood level
It sort
to the
of
rest
it
of the
didn't
album.
flow with the. Yeah, I know what you mean.
No.
I know what you
yeah.
mean. But it's so many awesome songs. They had the Mission Impossible song. Fuck.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
that was cool.
My
Yeah.
Generation, Full Nelson.
Full Nelson's
All
awesome.
them is just
Is
fantastic.
My Way
My
on
Way.
there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
My
that's
Way.
great.
Living
My
it up.
Way's on there. Yep. Yeah. it was- yeah.
And Hot Dog. That first song.
Hot
like,
Dog. Yeah.
I remember like my dad bringing that album home and like me being like, "Oh, Limp Bizkit, I know like the Roland song, and I'm gonna take this," and
Yeah.
just putting it in, and like the intro happens, and then it kicks into a Hot Dog, and as like a 10-year-old kid listening to that fucking song, being like, okay,
It's like,
fuck, it was fucking says fuck so much, I love it. It was just the best. It was absolute best.
all right. Moving on. Jono.
Hello. My third album is 2005's Commit This to Memory by Motion City Soundtrack, which I'm curious if anyone here's heard of that
I
band.
I like Motion
Nope.
City. Yeah, I
I
like
have.
Motion City soundtrack.
The name's familiar, but that's
Yeah.
about as far as it goes for
Trying
me.
to remember what song I like of theirs.
I know who they are. I don't like
Yeah,
them.
the song
Yeah,
I like.
they
is on
are.
that-
Sorry.
Is on that. No, go on. Sorry, I was going to say the song I like is on that album.
Yeah, great. So they're one of my top 3 bands ever. I've followed them from.
Yeah, great, fantastic contribution.
Yeah. Anyway, I followed them from their very first album, which came out just before Commit This to Memory. So I was very much anticipating this album, listening to snippets before it came out, and it was produced by Mark Hoppus from Blink 182, which was kind of the first thing anyone from Blink did after they'd broken up. So that added kind of to my anticipation, and yeah, they just
Break up?
yeah they broke up in 2005.
Oh.
So
How did that make you feel, Jono?
that's a topic for another day. But
Is that a topic for when one of their albums comes up further down your list, or?
possibly. But yeah, Motion City Soundtrack, a band I love. They're catchy. They're the instrumentation is really really awesome. They've got what they call a Moog, which is a digital analog synthesizer. I ended up
Yep.
getting a microchord digital synthesizer because of this band, because I wanted to play along to their songs, but it adds such a cool flavor to their kind of fun power pop kind of emo kind of sound. And I was very surprised that they never made it big after kind of Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco were starting to get played on radio. I really expected that they would be the next one to make it big, along the lines of All American Rejects and those bands that kind of had their random single that went really big, and it just never happened for Motion City for some reason.
I think it's very similar to like in the 80s with all the glam rock bands at the time. It was just like, you make it big, you don't. It's just luck of the draw kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas.
Album number 3. I'm coming into your era now, guys, but not someone you've mentioned. Is 2006's Continuum by John Mayer.
Ooh, I like that one.
Oh,
His third album. I think it's a fantastic album. It's sort of when or at a
Is
point
that
where
the
he'd done.
Run Through Your Halls in Your High School song? Is that on that album?
No,
That was
album after.
I was going to
that
say
was on
that's
his first album. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his first album was quite poppy, and the second one was a bit more pop rock, and then this third album he went quite heavily blues inspired and focused, which I really enjoyed. And I did
didn't
love
like
all
his
of his
first two
albums.
albums.
Sorry,
I didn't like his first 2 albums. I like this one, but
He's amazingly talented, that guy.
yeah, I'm quite a fan of them all for different reasons, but Continuum stands out with a couple of cracking tracks that I could listen to on repeat, like Waiting on the World to Change, Belief, and Vultures are just A plus stuff.
Waiting on the
Hey,
World to
John-
Change
John
is
Mayer's-
as relevant now as it was when it came out.
Yeah,
there's,
perhaps even more so.
I have like a short list of like the most talented musicians alive today, and like John Mayer would be on it. So
I disappointingly haven't spent as much time listening to his latest album as I should have, or that I want to. But it was released really strange. Like it was released in 2 parts, like a couple of months apart or something like that, or like three tracks a month for 6 months, something fucking weird. Yeah. And then
I
they
don't know, it's on
released it all
Spotify.
together. Yeah, it's on Spotify now.
Are you disappointed that John Mayer and Taylor Swift didn't work out?
Not explicitly. It's made for some good music.
Certainly has.
It's worked out for us.
Actually, I don't know if I probably haven't told the story, but I think John Mayer has been to New Zealand 3 times, and I've managed to miss him all 3 of those times. The first, I had a test at uni that was like a 7 p.m. test, and the show started at 7:30, so I couldn't go. Can't remember what the second time was. And the third one, my incredibly selfish sister decided to get married on the day that he was playing in Auckland.
Bitch.
She's never going to live that one down, but outside of the day. Mum told me I wasn't allowed to mention it on the actual day, but afterwards.
Do artists
it's been
only play
free
like?
reign.
Do artists only play like one show in New Zealand? Or could you have gone to another show in New Zealand?
No, so often they'll only play one night up in Auckland, or maybe they'll play 2. Far less often they do like multiple cities. But actually it was the Saturday night he was playing in Auckland, and then on Sunday Elvis Costello played.
Did you go to that at least?
Dad and I did get to go along and see Elvis Costello. Yeah.
Did they play Oliver's Army?
He did play Oliver's Army. Oliver's Army is one that he closes with. I've seen him a few times now. Yeah.
Dylan.
holy shit! You got me. You got me good. Okay, is everyone ready? Number 3, right? That's what we're up to. The classic, the pinnacle. What could possibly be considered by most people one of the greatest rap albums of all time? Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Clan. It is probably now my Wu-Tang story is so funny because I refused to listen to them for so many years because in primary school there was a kid that wore Wu-Tang clothes and everyone made fun of him. There's always that one kid He's like wearing the Wu-Tang, like the
shiny
pants
tracksuit.
and the
That's
tracksuit
funny
and
'cause,
everything.
My
Jack
school
was
was
that
the
kid.
opposite. No, I was never. No. I was the kid getting made fun of because I didn't have the Wu-Tang and the Dada clothes.
Oh, really?
And the FUBU.
There was
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one kid at my school and everyone made fun of him, so...
I was like, you know what? I'm not getting sucked into this. And 6 months later, they all look like idiots.
Years later when I was in high school, I'm like, I don't know, like 14, 15, 16, I'm starting to grow my music taste. You know, I'm exploring albums more and stuff like that, especially like older. I start getting in heavy into rap music. I go back, I'm listening to Tupac, I'm listening to Big Earl, this sort of stuff.
Changes.
And I finally listened to Wu-Tang Clan, and I'm like, fuck. They're not shit. For some reason in my mind, they were always like such a joke band, like the Insane Clown Posse or some
Insane Clown
bullshit
Posse.
like that,
Crazy
or
Clown Clan.
something like that. But no, I'd listen to this album probably at least once a month or something like that. At least it is fun every time through. It's just a fun, hard-hitting track with such old school beats where it's just like if you listen to new rap these days and you listen to something like this, you just go back and it's just like boom boom clang, like that sort of stuff, and it's just this thing. Cream is still a classic track. Bring the Ruckus is fucking amazing. The banter, the skits stuff
Take your neck.
they have between songs, and Old Dirty Bastard and everyone else just kind of it's got so many standout vocal people in the Wu-Tang Clan that we don't really have anymore, so great album.
Dylan, did you ever play the Wu-Tang Clan video game?
No, I did
Child.
not.
Oh,
I
it's
did
bad.
not.
It was bad.
My exposure to the Wu-Tang Clan is those shiny tracksuits and that
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle skit.
But they're good. I wish I could listen to their last album.
Oh dear.
I don't have a Wu-Tang game, but I did just show you 50 Cent Blood on the Sand that I have within
upsets me
arm's
that you-
reach.
I played
Upsets me
that as
you
well.
played
So.
It upsets me that you could only get trophies for it if you got the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Because it's a good game.
Upsets me that
I
you have
would-
it within arm's
I
reach.
would definitely go back and get the platinum trophy in that. Should we get Japanese copies, Dylan?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'll reach out to the PR company and see if they can
I'll do the 2-player with you because I think there's like 2-player co-op stuff you've got to do. Anyway, the pleasure explosion. Sorry.
Yes. Jack.
Hello. Album number 3, so album number 3, which is number 3 because it is in the middle, is the first album that I ever owned. My first ever album, my first ever CD. It is Let's
Backstreet's
Face
Back.
It. No, it's not. No. Same era. It is Let's Face It by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. This, I remember when that song came out, I think in 96 or 7, the song everyone knows.
Knock on wood.
Impression that I get.
Impression that I get.
Yeah.
That was like, I remember that song coming on the radio and I was just instantly in love with it. And then we went on like a year-long holiday up the coast of Australia, like just driving and camping and stuff like that. And we bought like just a heap of CDs and stuff before we went off, just to have, because we had all we had was like our radio and like the car, and so it was just like music and driving, like, and each other was all we had for a year. And mum and dad like took us to like, you kids can buy an album as well. You can pick an album for yourself. And I was like, of course I'm going to buy this. It was like, they're still one of my favorite bands.
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
You've never heard of them?
Nah.
Never heard
You
of
know
them?
the song.
Or maybe if I
You
heard them,
definitely
I
the
would
song.
know them.
Oh, yeah, you
but
would
I
know the
don't
song, yeah.
Do
They're
they
a
have a
ska-
logo
it's a-
that's like a little
it's a ska
monster or
band.
something like that?
They're a ska band. So that's
What's that
like
even mean?
trumpets
I love
and
ska.
trombones and yeah, they're like a
Off
large
beats.
group. So yeah, yeah,
Kind of like
Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake.
yeah.
What's
the
the
Cat
Austra-
Empire.
Area 7 is the
Not so
Australian
much like
equivalent.
Cat Empire. Yeah.
If they sound anything like the Cat Empire, I don't like them.
No, they're not like
They're
Cat
not.
Empire.
They're not anything like the Cat Empire.
It's like imagine
No, but
reggae.
these
brass.
things sound familiar to me.
Imagine
What's
reggae
that
being really fast and with brass sections, basically.
But yeah, just some
Rap
awesome
music.
songs. Some really like songs that like hit home, and they all have like a really good message. Is probably like the one thing I took away from this band. They're all like, every song is like a lesson, like a life lesson. Lyrically, like they're all really good. So if anyone's into that kind of sort of thing and wants to hear a little bit of something different, I recommend checking it out. It is a really good album. You can probably get it on iTunes for like $9 these days, or obviously Spotify if you use that.
If you've played any Tony Hawk games, you would have heard some ska like Goldfinger or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know
Sublime.
that Goldfinger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sublime's
just-
kind of yeah.
Same.
Superman song.
It, like every song, like you can listen to start to finish without stopping. So every song's really great. Good flow as well.
Ashley.
Number 3, a little band called Powderfinger. Odyssey number 5.
Never heard
Yeah.
of him.
That's their best album
Just-
for sure.
Yeah, that's their best album. I mean, just songs like These Days, My Happiness, The Meter, Like a Dog,
Like a dog.
well, just
Like a dab.
a bunch of great songs. I mean, that's probably where they hit their prime, I think. So,
Do you remember the movie Two Hands with Heath Ledger?
yes,
It was pretty much that album was the soundtrack for it.
yeah. These Days might be one of the best songs ever, I would
Yeah.
say.
These days.
No.
That's how it goes. Fact. You're all remembering it wrong.
Yes, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, Odyssey,
Yeah.
number 5, number 3.
Fantastic. One of the great Australian bands for sure.
Yep.
Dylan, what do you think?
What do I think of Powderfinger?
Yeah.
They're fine, sure. Or do you want me to do my next album? Because I'm pretty sure we're not up to me here. Are we?
No.
Okay.
It's up to me. My next album is Life in Cartoon Motion by Mika. This album, 10 years ago this year, it came out. And I originally bought it as a joke because the guy I worked with hated that Grace Kelly song. And I would listen to it over and over again to learn all the words to sing it to him. Just to piss him off.
This
You're
doesn't
such a
surprise
fucking
anybody.
troll.
What a
That doesn't
brilliant
sound
idea.
like you at all.
And then I just ended up listening to the song, and that album is, for me, a 9.5 out of 10. It is
Wow, that's a big call.
fantastic. There's not a bad song on there. And they're all, like, good and upbeat. Not all of them are upbeat, but, like, they all portray a positive message, and he's very reminiscent of Freddie Mercury in his singing style.
Yeah, he is very
and-
much so, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't listened to an album since then, but that album is up there for me.
Is he still around?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
At Mika Sounds on Twitter. I found that out because I
tweet some good
tweeted
stuff,
about
or-
it a little while
Tweet
ago.
him that he's at number 3. Oh no, you're not in order, so it could be 1. That could be your favourite.
It's true. It's true.
Thomas, number 4.
Jesus, I wasn't expecting that. My number 4, I mentioned Paul Weller before, lead singer, guitarist from the Jam.
Wasn't he RoboCop?
That's a good joke, actually.
It's the guy from Fast and Furious, yeah.
That's Paul
Walker.
I know Paul Weller. He did some music with Noel Gallagher.
He did, yeah.
Love that song. Talk Tonight.
So I could probably, if I wanted to, put 5 of his solo albums as my top 5 albums of all time. And I don't know explicitly that I would. So I've chosen As Is Now from 2005. And I don't know if it is my favourite solo album of his, but it is the album that came out.
But it's the one I put on the list.
It's the one that I put on the list. It's the album that came out that I bought for myself, and I bought a copy for my dad, who's also a big fan, because Dad didn't have it. And when it came out, it was kind of my moment of starting my own collection of his music and
Yeah.
and being that sort of level of fan as opposed to just
Should have
listening
just
to
done what
some
I did and
albums that
stole
Dad
all my
has.
dad's CDs.
I missed that completely because I was talking.
Sorry, you should have done what I done and just stole all of my dad's CDs.
Well,
Shouldn't talk over people, Thomas.
Yeah.
Very sorry. Yeah, no, so I did steal all Dad's CDs up until the point where Dad didn't own the new CD that came out, and I had to pick it up. So I put that on the list. I think it was sort of must have been my 5th form year at school, and just like learned to drive.
Whatever that is in
got my
real time.
year 11,
Just say how old you were. Yeah.
Okay.
15, 2005.
Okay.
15, 16,
15.
got my learner's
Okay.
license, so ended up get you restricted out driving by yourself. It was an album that was always in the car for me when I was driving anywhere by myself, and yeah, so I got a lot of time for it and put it on the list. for that reason, but it's sort of representative of 13 studio albums and
Yeah.
and 2 other bands and all their albums as well, even though Setting Sun's made it on the list too.
Yeah. Dylan.
What's up? Number 2
4.
on my list. Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem.
Yeah.
Stan, The Real Slim Shady, Remember Me, I'm Back, Marshall Mathers, Kill You, Bitch Please. They're all the top Eminem tracks of all time. Now, I hadn't listened to this album for probably 6 months or so. I listened to it 2 or 3 times in the last couple of days, start to finish. It is such an aggressive album, and I kind of fucking miss
Oh,
it.
what a surprise!
It is a very aggressive album.
He
and
was
I
an
love
angry
it.
boy.
Like,
He was an angry boy back
he's a
then.
very, very angry boy.
Is that the one where the last track is the guy talking about rubbing his back?
No, that was on
No.
the Slim Shady show.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last track's Criminal, unless it's like a different edition where it has a bonus song.
No, Tom got
It
it.
ends on Criminal, because I'm a criminal. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that one.
It's no like
Before he
it's-
did collaborations with everyone.
Imagine like if you remember how the outrage when that album came out in like the wider community from like your mums and dads and politicians and stuff like that. Imagine if an album like that, like a mainstream album like that, got released today.
I
People
wouldn't.
would
If
have
this,
a
if this
fucking
album
fit.
came out today, if
I
this
don't
album
think
came
people
out
care.
lyrically, word for word, came out today, like if it wasn't Eminem, but it was some of an artist, I would not like it because a lot of the stuff he talks about, like I put in my mind, it's in a time capsule. I can understand it was made in a certain time. There is a lot of
Sexist, racist,
Homophobic stuff and
sexist,
that.
homophobic. There is a lot of
rape, kill,
yeah.
fucking.
The rape kill stuff I can handle because that's kind of just Eminem, and he still makes those kind of jokes. Like
do watch
he'll
Game
literally
of
be like,
Thrones.
"I'll fucking rape you," and blah 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 blah. I know everything I say in the record. Don't know if it'll happen. If
The
you believe it, I'll
Explosion
fucking
Network
kill
does
you and
not
I'll rape
condone
you
rape.
and I'll fucking all this sort of stuff. I mean, that's
Important
just Eminem. I
disclaimer,
think
Tom.
that I wouldn't change that about him, and that probably wouldn't like if that was still part of the album, it wouldn't really affect me. It is basically all the homophobic and like those kinds of slurs. Like
Nor
that
do
was
we
the thing I was
support
listening.
homophobia.
That was the thing I was as I was listening to it, I was like, fuck, there's a lot of this. But at the same time, I just pushed past it because like it's such a fucking like I just put it in that time capsule in my mind and like it's fine, and it's still it is my favorite rap album of all time. But I mean, every song's great. Just listening from it start to finish, it is just that pure like kind of aggression of the Eminem at his best, as far as I'm concerned. Just kind of yelling at the world, and every song from Stan to which has like such a good message or
Stan's
story
amazing.
to tell, and then like the Real Slim Shady, which is just still one of the old time. Like if that comes on, everyone's fucking singing that thing word to word, no matter what. Like there's no way you're not. And then like the other songs like Kill You and Under the Influence, Bitch Please, to Criminal, like all these really quite aggressive songs, which I mean I laugh like listening to him, like his wordplay,
The Way I
like
Am.
it's some of it's disgusting, like the stuff he says, but then like there's the part in Criminal where it goes to the skit where he like runs in, robs a store.
Yeah.
He's like, just give me the money and please don't kill me, please don't kill me, and then thank you, bye, and the words and he goes back and song. I was like driving home, I was like, I just start cracking up laughing. I'm like, I mean the guy's a genius, I can't help it.
And let's not forget Steve Berman and Ken Kniff. either.
Yeah, the skits on the album. Oh yeah, they're still funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They hold up.
Eminem.
On a-
Marshall Mathers LP.
On a different day, I might try and argue that I can time capsule that, so it makes the racism and sexism and stuff all okay, because it's like forgiving. He's from a different generation. It was a different time, which is really not forgivable.
I don't
but-
think there's racist. Like I don't get the racist stuff. The homophobic stuff is quite
There you go.
apparent, and it's still homophobic stuff. This is a completely different topic, but just to cover it, like really quick motion, homophobic stuff is still quite very apparent in rap music today. Still,
Yeah, they
that
still
hasn't.
use
It
those
hasn't
words.
really changed. It's still such a big part, and I mean, Eminem tried to rub it off in such like, oh, it's just the way we battled. Like you'd say, hey F word, you know, would you suck dick, blah blah blah. Would always just battle, and he tried to cover it up by having, of course, Elton John come out and sing Stan at the MTVs or something like that, being like, I'm fine, like it's a non-issue. But like he still says it to this day. Like if you listen to like his last albums, like Rap God has like a slur about the things on it there, and it's the same time. Like I listened to that album a couple of years ago when that came out, and I'm still like driving along in the car, and I'm just like, I really wish he wouldn't say that, but like,
Yeah.
it's such a struggle sometimes to
Any of his
to
beef
think,
songs, if you listen to any of his like songs where he's like Like any of the ones
Yeah,
against,
like he just says it, yeah.
Limp Bizkit or like Everlast and
Yes.
stuff when he's like
Yes.
making diss songs against people.
Yeah,
It is like the pure thing like that he goes to like all the time.
Yeah, it is like that battle nature, which I'm not saying I agree with it, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah.
Jack, 4.
Number 2 on my list, the fourth song and my second most favorite album of all time, and I think one of the great, like undisputed greatest albums of all time is Pink Floyd, The Wall. Just
Sure.
I was about to yell it before you did. I could just feel it
Tom
coming.
knew it was coming. I just undisputed. This is one of the greatest albums ever put together. It is a like a story. Like they made a movie to this album. Like they literally made a movie.
And it is trippy as fuck.
Yeah, it is fucking. But it is fucking
With Bob
awesome.
Geldof.
Like Bob Geldof. God bless him. That movie is just, and the whole album, like from start to finish, is like it's like a motion picture in sound. It's incredible the way that it tells a story of this man and his experience in his life and his emotions toward his father and his mother and his battles and his demons and these things. It is a really incredible album, and I actually came, like when Roger Waters came to Melbourne in 2012, I went and watched The Wall, like he did The Wall as a concert, and just like unbelievable, just an absolute like performance. The whole thing is just unbelievable. And there's some like the whole thing as a package is great, but there was some magnificent songs on there. Like obviously, One More Brick in the Wall, Comfortably Numb, In the Flesh.
One More Brick in the Wall is not a song.
Well, you know whatever it is.
Another
Brick in the Wall. Sorry. In the Flesh, Mother, Goodbye Blue Sky. There's some fantastic songs in that album, and I recommend anyone who's
Shout out to Comfortably Numb as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Comfortably
Yeah,
Numb
he said that.
is one of my favourite Pink Floyd songs.
Even the tour they did with it is fantastic, where they started, the whole stage was walled off to the crowd and they just tear it down.
Yeah, the
through
ball
the
starts
concert.
breaking down. Yeah, oh, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable, mate. It's absolutely unbelievable. I love it. It's I got into Pink Floyd through my parents. They were massive Pink Floyd fans, and that album is like I said, one of the greatest of all time, and my second favourite of all time for sure.
Yeah, I went to the show when Roger Waters brought it to Auckland as well. And
It's magnificent, isn't it?
Quite interesting that, like, making a very similar sort of anti-war kind of political statement.
Absolutely.
In 2000 and... Am I wearing the shirt today, actually? No, I'm not. Yeah, we're
would've been
making the same kind of statement in 2014 or 15 whenever he toured it as when he wrote the music in the late 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. The pig. Did you also have the flying pig flying around the around the stadium? Amazing.
Yep.
Just amazing. Yeah. Start to finish, that's awesome.
Hey, Nick.
That
Hi, Jono.
that
Haven't
album
heard from you in a while.
Yeah.
I am mistaking for Dark Side of the Moon for the fact that I'm going to give you, and I'll give it to you later. Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon was on like the top 100 selling albums, basically since it was released. I think there's been like
And
one
Pink
or
Floyd's
two
best
weeks of all time that it's not been on the top 100 selling albums or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
We can
Dark Side of the Moon's
fact check that, but it just
Yeah.
It would have to be rock albums, I think. Yeah. That is my favourite Pink Floyd album.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Mine too.
Yeah, there's some more Time, Money, Great Gig in the Sky, like that album's
Wish You Were Here.
awesome.
Yeah.
spoilers.
No,
it's
wish
on
you-
my
wish-
honourable mention list.
Wish You Were
Which
Here
was
We're
on
not
its
going
own
to get to
album.
today.
Oh,
Wish You Were
that's
Here.
right. It was
Johnny.
on EP. Sorry. My next one is another 2005 track. Album. It's I'm Wide Awake It's Morning by Bright Eyes. Another one from the Seth Cohen starter pack. Ash might remember. It's for the people who don't know Bright Eyes. He's a modern folk musician. It's one guy, and his name's Connor Oberst. It's basically classic blues, American indie. It's just it was my introduction to modern folk music, and I always looked at folk music as an old person's genre, kind of in that same area as maybe country and something a bit more old-fashioned, Johnny Cash, that kind of thing. I love Johnny Cash now, but it was a introduction to that style of, I guess, singer-songwriter, and it was a major influence on my band in uni, Farewell Summer. And lyrically, it's just so honest and so raw. His voice is so different to anything I'd heard before. Like, he wasn't a American Idol good singer. He had a lot of character in his voice, and which meant that there were a lot of comparisons to Bob Dylan. Like, you read a lot of articles on Conor Oberst, and it's like this generation's Bob Dylan or whatever, which has turned out not to be accurate because he's more just his own identity in himself. But that album, I'm Wide Awake It's Morning, it's a really great snapshot of that period in time with the war in Iraq and just the post 9/11 culture that we live in, and I guess melding in his own internal conflicts with the drama that's happening in the world. I'd recommend anyone that's a fan of folk music to check out I'm Wide Awake It's Morning.
I'll definitely check it out, yeah. Nobody else is interested in it.
Sorry, I have no idea.
The name sounds familiar, but yeah, I probably have to listen to a few tracks.
The album he released 2 albums in 1 month. One was called I'm Wide Awake It's Morning. The other one was called Digital Urn in Digital Ashes, and they both went to number 1 in the US. So it is a very well known. You definitely know the song First Day of My Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
probably
that a Simple Plan song?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Ashley.
Get out of here.
No pants, no helmets, just balls. What an album.
So my number 2 I know is on someone else's list, so I might just wait till they bring it up before we get into depth.
Good call.
Why don't you bring it up?
Go on, Ash, stick your neck out.
No, it's all right. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a sec.
Well, do your next year album then.
Okay, so my number 1 album, Cease to Begin by Band of Horses. Band of Horses is my favorite band, so it makes sense that this is my favorite album. I don't know if you know them, but their most prominent songs are The Funeral or No One's Gonna Love You Like I Do. It's just an album I can listen to anytime for as long as on repeat for like hours and hours and hours. So
What's the genre?
What genre are they?
it's like indie folk rock, I think is
I'd call
What it
it.
was looking-
It's just folk rock. Is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so. Love them.
That's
Awesome.
fair. All right, I'm going to do my variable album. Today it's going to be
What's a
band
variable
that-
album?
That's
It's my variable
This is the one that will
spot.
change any day.
Oh, okay. Yep, gotcha.
I think I'm going to go back to my favourite album from my favourite band growing up all through high school and for a good chunk of my adult life.
You sure?
Was AC/DC. Yep. And my favourite AC/DC album is Let There Be Rock, a Bon Scott album. That album is perfect from beginning to end. Whole lot of Rosie. Let
It's
There Be
interesting
Rock.
that you pick a Bon Scott.
Hey?
It's interesting that you pick a Bon Scott album.
Bon Scott is the better singer.
Oh,
Don't even try to dispute it.
my mum would argue. AC/DC is my.
I'd
mum's
punch your
favourite
mum
band.
out.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
I've had to listen to.
Why is
quite a
it
lot
that
of
you picked this
AC/DC.
album, Nick? Because it's not probably one of their more popular albums, for sure.
No, it's just been my favourite. Like, listening through all of them, like, from the highs of Let There Be Rock to the lows of Flicker the Switch and Fly on the Wall. It's just consistently been my favourite album of their catalogue.
Just
I
got
reckon my
Fly
next
on the
favourite-
Wall are low compared to like what was their last album? The fucking
Oh, Rock or Bust. Yeah, that
What?
was bad.
Rock or Bust was their fucking worst album.
I try to forget that one exists, to be honest.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, like, at the time when they were my favourite band and listened to them every day, that would be my go-to album. But
Fair.
on another day, if you asked me this question, it'd be on the honourable mentions list.
Interesting.
Today's
Right.
an AC/DC.
Do you want to
day.
cement this? This is the album you want to cement for all time in your top 5?
Sure. Well, I do have an AC/DC tattoo, so I think it should be in there.
You do not. Do you really? That's awesome.
I do.
Is it a Thunderbolt?
Australian
Yeah.
Bogan over here?
Nice. Logo.
Tell me what it is.
All right.
Tell me what
And
it
you're
is where
here
it is.
judging us
Yes,
for our choices, Nick.
I am. It's the AC/DC logo tattoo.
I love you. I
Where?
love you so much.
Thank you, Jack.
Did you get that one
Taking
weekend at
your
V8 Supercars? Or
Is that the tattoo you showed? You showed Stacey, and then she's just like, "You can have me."
It is my soul tattoo.
I'm on the highway to Nick. Nicholas.
All right,
Fantastic.
down to our last album for everyone. I'm going to start with you, Dylan.
Okay. I'm fine. My number one album of all time it was the easiest. Like, this was an auto lock as soon as this question because it doesn't ever change. It is Razor Blade Romance by him. And I feel like I've already covered this at some point, or Jono would have. I feel like Jono could have guessed this maybe. I feel like I've talked about this to someone.
I wouldn't have known the
yeah,
album.
The one with that-
we've spoken about him
that-
before.
Heart cross pentagram thing.
Yep.
Yep.
That is the lamest logo I've ever seen.
Get the fuck out of here, Mr. Thunderbolt's fucking tattoo.
Yes, says the man with ACDC tattooed to him fucking self.
I'll get that fucking heartogram thing tattooed
I'll
on me over
fight
a
all
fucking
of you at
Thunderbolt.
once.
Fucking horrible person.
I like
Razor Blade
him.
Romance is the best. It has some of the greatest songs.
Bury Me Deep
I can
Inside
listen
Your
to
Heart.
it from.
Fuck yeah.
Yep, I can listen to it from start to finish, and then I can start the album straight away again and listen to it start to finish, and I can probably do it 3 or 4 times over, which I can't do for any other album. I would eventually just be like, it's time for something else. And I've listened to this album more than any other album in existence, so it's just like it's an auto. It's an auto. It's amazing. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I've listened to it a lot. All the songs are great. I love it. Villavalo is I would fuck that man.
Wrong. Pick another top album.
Okay. Deep Shadows and Brilliant Highlights, him.
I'll accept that one. All right, Jono. Your top album.
Yeah, so I had a really hard time picking a Blink album. They're my Blink 182 are my favorite band ever, without question. So I did the cop-out one and went with a live album because someone else was saying that we could do live albums. So I'm just throwing out the Mark, Tom, and Travis show.
That was
Yeah.
me.
That is awesome. I have that. I have that album. That is.
Is it the Enema
Is that
Strikes?
like a greatest hits but live?
The Enema Strikes Back or something? Yeah, it's their only live album that I know of, and
Oh, okay.
it came out just after Enema of the State. So it's kind of a snapshot of who they were at that point before Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and everything after that. So some people would say it was at their peak, and it was certainly at their peak in terms of how popular they were.
Now,
Well, their
Jono,
peak certainly wasn't their latest album.
I have to ask
Yeah.
you, Jono, as a very prim and proper Christian boy, did you stop listening after the songs finished, or did you listen to all the extra bonus tracks?
No, it's similar to, I guess, Dylan with the Eminem stuff. It was like, at that point in time, it was... I loved everything about that album, like the jokes. Like,
Can you still listen to it today? Fine.
yeah, I guess so. Like I have,
It's...
yeah,
yeah.
I know what
You have
it
the same
is.
issue I have, I guess.
It's dick jokes, and it's like hanging out
It's
with you guys.
so funny.
You know?
It is so funny.
Like,
I remember the
It
first
is not.
time.
I do not say dick jokes.
Okay,
My
but
humour is above that.
my
I
point is,
remember
like,
Are you saying you like us as much as you like Blink 182?
I'm saying, like, I'm not talking like
No
that
answer.
just because
The
I'm
answer
listening
is
to
no.
it. What were you going to say,
I
Jack?
always found it so interesting when I've learnt that your favourite band was Blink 182. I was like, really? Really? Like Blink 182? Like, have you actually listened to Blink 182? Like, do you know what they say and do? Like,
I remember.
found it quite interesting for your character.
I remember the first time I listened to that album. I got that album for Christmas, and I remember getting it and being like, "Oh, okay, thanks, I guess." Like, I liked Blink, but they weren't like my favorite band at the time. And I remember one day just putting it on, plugging in like the headphones, and listening to it in the stereo in the lounge room, and listening through the album. Like, yeah, cool. And then it kept going. I'm like, oh, hold on, there's more songs than it says on the thing. And sitting there for like 2 hours, like listening on repeat all of those like skit songs and because it's like, it'd be good if they did it.
It's got, like, outtakes, basically.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
you could probably
banter.
put it on your computer and mix it together to put all of like the bits in between the.
It's funny to me because I never thought they were a serious band. Like, to me, Blink 182 were always a comedy band. I always thought all
very
of their
far
songs
from
were funny. Like, I always found all of their songs funny. Like,
They-
the first time I ever
from
saw
a lot
them
of
was
bands
like
of
the
that
music
period. They
videos
had a
are
lot
funny,
of those
so-
like funny songs, like skit songs, like
Yeah.
A lot of bands of that era had those songs, but they also had a lot of good punk rock songs.
They
I
were
love that
they're
album.
very much the definition of pop punk for me. Like, they were catchy. They were singing about breaking up with girls, and it was that teen angst that I really related to when I came across that, which was probably a bit later. I was probably 15 at the time, and
That
it
American
was
Pie era.
yeah. And the thing about it was that it introduced me to live, like what's special about live music, and all the songs they played way faster than the way they were recorded in the studio. Travis just went nuts, and you could see the difference between him and their previous drummer, because he was playing the old songs better than that drummer. And like you talked about the banter between Mark and Tom, it introduced that aspect of entertaining, and the fact that Blink are just a live band. Like, if you've seen them live, it's so different than just listening to them on the CD.
I saw them live and they were horrible.
Well,
I like Blink-182, but when I saw them live, they were horrible.
Nick, do I have to remind you that you've got an AC/DC tattoo?
Jono, how did you feel about
Actually,
Satan?
Scratch
making
my
it-
fourth album, because I just realised I have a solid top 5, and I don't know how I forgot this.
Oh no!
Scratch out the last album and add Ixnay on the
Ixnay on the ombre.
screen.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Remember,
The
you're
Satan
editing
stuff?
This episode, so
Sorry,
you
just
can,
quickly on Jono's. On
Yeah,
Jono.
the Satan stuff.
How did you
I mean,
feel
it was
about
just.
Satan being in the album?
I guess it was kind of. It's similar. It's like the South Park version
Yeah,
of Satan,
yeah.
basically.
It is, isn't
it's,
it? Yeah.
It's just dumb. It's,
Do you like Tenacious D? Or
Yeah, I like Tenacious D. They're pretty funny.
yeah.
Just
It's not something I listen to a lot, but
Hey, Nick, ask me what my my fifth album is.
Please tell me.
I'm going to
Tenacious
say,
D by
Jack and
Tenacious D.
Ashley, you two can gush about your top album.
It's
next.
Rise of the Phoenix by Tenacious D.
no, it's not.
It is.
We'll get to
Is
you
it?
later, Tom.
Is it really?
It is. It is really. It's not. Well, it's not my
I
favorite
like
album
it.
of all time because it's just 5 albums.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Alphabetically,
yours
but-
isn't in order. Yep.
But Rise of the Phoenix is the last on my list of 5 albums as favorite of all time.
And why is that?
I think they're like musically incredible. They're funny.
They actually are. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Jack Black can sing like a madman, and
Yeah, he's got
K-
some. He's got some pipes, doesn't he?
He's got some pipes. KG is fantastic on the guitar, and Dave Grohl plays drums for them. Like,
Yep.
he
I
is.
I
he
find
is
this
their
pick
drummer.
so funny. Like, why this album? Because I actually think it's their worst one.
That's the only one of theirs I haven't listened to.
I listened to it when it came out, and I didn't think it was either as good as the pick soundtrack / actual album, or their just self-titled album.
I'm not sure why I chose this. It's probably again a pick. I could pick any of them to appear
Destiny?
on this list. I think, like, it was an album that I didn't expect, and that they probably shouldn't have been able to make after the Pick of Destiny was like the disastrous failure that it was.
Fuck, it's
Like,
so good though.
It's I own it on DVD. Like
Kickapoo.
it's fantastic, but
It's
we
fucking
shouldn't
hilarious.
we shouldn't have got this album, which makes it even better. I think like Rise of the Phoenix is a great track. Obviously, Low Hanging Fruit's quite hilarious.
Low Hanging Fruit's funny. I remember when the video came out, watching it, and I was like, dear God.
Like to be the best is like potentially one of my favorite songs, and it's only like a minute long. But if you want to get hype, just listen to that song. It's pretty amazing.
I have I know someone who whenever he has a party get together, he grabs our guitar and everyone sits around and has to sing tribute. So I quite align to.
that's me.
I'm
the
quite
guy.
aligned to just and everyone has to take their shirt off for some reason. It's like literally a thing he does.
That's
I've
awesome.
seen so many videos and been there. It's quite interesting. So I think I'll just go. Yeah, I'd
Tribute's
go
like
back
the
Protect the
five
party
minutes.
from the devil.
Tribute's like the only song of theirs that I don't particularly like because it was absolutely
Really?
like, it was. I like
Or is
it.
it
but
overplayed?
It was so overplayed on the radio, and that's,
Well, I'll tell you what their
that's
best song
all
is.
everybody
It's called
ever knew.
Fuck
I can
Her
understand
Gently.
that. Yeah.
Like nobody cared for the rest of the album or the music that they actually make. It was like, oh, here's a cool joke song that's a song about another song.
Well, it is fair. It
And
is
it's a
their
bit of a
song that
laugh.
most people know but don't listen to like the rest of their albums, I guess. Like everyone knows it, but no, yeah, it's fair.
Seen them live a number of times. I bought like actual picks that are the. Pick
Do you
of
love
Destiny and-
School of Rock as well?
Yeah,
Like
good
the
film.
movie? Fucking love it. It's basically just like it's like getting more Tenacious D without like Tenacious D, but you get more Jack Black singing.
Yeah.
I had the soundtrack for that guy, like the album on repeat for that would be in my top 10 soundtracks. Is probably School of Rock soundtrack.
When
sorry.
like
There's a TV version of that.
They're bringing one out, yeah.
No, there is a TV version.
Oh,
like
is it
3
out?
seasons or
Okay,
something.
fuck. I missed it then. I thought that it wasn't
With
even
Gene
out.
You
Simmons.
didn't miss much.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked good.
All right. Next, I'm pretty sure I'm going to let Ashley and Jack gush about their top album.
So
Jack,
I think
you
this
go
is Ash's number 2 and my number 1.
Yeah.
Probably pretty obvious if you know much about me, but Linkin Park's Meteora is my favourite album of all time. Has my favourite song of all time, or one of my favourite songs, probably equal top favourite song of all time in Faint on it. Just an awesome album, like an incredible follow-up to what was an amazing debut album in Hybrid Theory. They just sort of set the bar again higher. Like it was a cleaner, crisper, harder, like some different stuff in there. Some awesome songs like Numb, Hit the Floor. There's just some great tracks on there. Really like not well-known tracks as well, which are just fantastic. Yeah. Came around in like a really, again, seminal time in my youth. I think it was in like year 10 or 11 in high school, and it sort of came to me when that album like fell into my lap. It was I guess everything I needed as far as musically at the time. I'd gone through the majority of my early high school years being like an emo punk rock kind of dude, and liking Linkin Park enough, like having heard their songs on the radio and video hits and whatever. And Meteora came, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it, and it was the album that made Linkin Park my favorite band, and why I've followed them sort of really closely ever since. Obviously, Ash, do you've got something else to?
Yeah.
That was for me. Hybrid Theory, Reanimation, and Meteora are sort of linked because it seemed like all through high school those were the 3 albums that were constantly on rotation. Like any school trip or any birthday party or anything, those albums would be the ones that come out. So, and especially obviously with the tragic events that have occurred, like in the last couple of months, with Chester passing away, it's probably come more to the forefront again. And I looked at it more lyrically, and it's like really impressive. And then the other week, I went out to see a Linkin Park tribute show with a friend of the network, Buddy Watson, and just being in that crowd that night was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. Just some of these songs I haven't heard in ages, and you just know the lyrics, and everyone was just, it was pretty crazy. Crazy night.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
All right, my last album. What?
Just to lock it in, if you don't let me list off my last 5 when you're done and try and end the show, I will fucking fight you.
You could
just edit this out after in post, Nick.
Take a leaf out of my book, and when he offers you your Twitter handle, just go through your honorable mentions.
Good fucking bit, Tom. Thank you. Continue, Nick.
My top album comes from my favorite band of all time. I've seen them live
AC/DC.
5 times. Every time they come out, or when they used to come out, I'd see every one of their albums was good and just got better to their last album, their last studio album, which for me I think is their best.
Is this the
and
Beard
it
band?
is the Beard album by the Beards.
I reckon you could guess that even if you didn't know that the Beards was a band.
It was
It's so funny because I reckon I could have, if we was predicting, I could have predicted, I reckon yours, Ash's, Jack's, and Jono's right. I would have fucking no idea what Tom's was ever, but yeah, I would have got all of yours right, like the artist.
Yeah,
anyway.
Tenacious D.
You
came
say
out
that
left
after
field.
you know all their songs.
Hey?
After all, you know all their albums.
No, I just
Yeah.
know that you're fucking like your band.
Yeah, like the Beards. Those who don't know the Beards, every song they sing is about beards, and they sing songs about beards.
So why do you like them,
They
though,
are-
Nick?
No,
They
you
just-
don't have any affiliation to beards at all.
No.
Oh, I
They
have the
sound
best
like-
thing for you.
They're more niche than Weird Al Yankovic.
Razor.
Like,
Yeah. How many albums?
They've got their market. And
They have 4
they
studio
play to
albums
it.
and 1 live album.
How many times
How
have you
many-
seen them live?
Live/greatest hits album.
There's like
How many
50
times
something
have you
songs
seen
about beards.
yeah,
That's impressive.
and they're all great.
And they're all great.
They honestly they are. They are musically.
Is there any bad
extremely
songs about
talented.
beards?
I refuse to
No.
believe
Ever?
they're all great.
I love it.
They are. Honestly, go check them out. They have the first album is the Beard album. No, the last one's the Beard album.
And then the Beard
I
album
have to think about it.
And then
the
the
second
album
one is
three.
beards, and then the third one is having a beard is the new not having a beard.
Dear God.
I do remember seeing them do a version of ZZ Top's Sharp Dress Bands, which is very impressive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they did it on a version on Triple J.
The drummer in ZZ Top, his surname is Beard, and he's the one that doesn't have a beard.
Whoa! What a twist!
Whoa, mind blown. That should have been on the things you
That's
can't
a 10
believe
out of 10.
episode. All right. That has been an extremely long episode 26 of Pleasure Explosion. Hope you've all enjoyed listening to it, and let us know which top 5 list you attune to most. Over on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Remember to rate and review us and everything on iTunes. It helps us with analytics and all that kind of stuff. You can find everything and anything and everything we do over explosionnetwork.com. Alright. You can find Ashley at...
No. You can
find me-
motherfucker. We're here. Hand it over.
You can find me at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY, where you can see my honourable mentions, like the Foo Fighters In Your Honour, and The Colour and the Shape, Silverchair's Diorama, Childish Gambino's Camp and Cul-de-sac, and, say, Bon Iver's For Emma Forever Ago. That'll do for
And
now.
you know everybody else's Twitter handles. So thank you very much today.
You can fuck right off, Nick, and find me TomDabom89, TomDabom89, listening to some honourable mentions such as Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, The Darkness is Hotcakes, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, Dark Side of the Moon, which I mentioned before, and it's like a greatest hits compilation, but Portrait of a Legend by Sam Cooke.
Alright, you can find Jack at...
You can find me at Cruzy_mate. A couple of my honourable mentions: Dark Side of the Moon, Mark, Tom and Travis Show, Dr. Dre's 2001, U2, Rattle and Hum, Octoon Baby, Bloodhound Gang's Hooray for Boobies, D12's Devil Knight, Jebediah Slightly Odd Way, the American Pie wedding soundtrack, Empire Strikes Back, and the Blues Brothers soundtrack.
Blues Brothers, good choice. I was going to have that, but removed it.
And there's many more, but I don't want to. It would take too long.
Go on, Dill, before he cuts you off.
You can follow
You can
Jono
find
at-
Dylan at Viva La Dylan.
I was just going to cover Jono. Jono had to leave, so you can follow Jono at Jono himself. I don't know what his honourable mentions are.
boy!
Tweet
Probably
at him
the
and
other
ask.
Blink one.
Tweet at him.
You can
Say,
probably
hey,
more
Jono, what
fucking
are your honourable
Blink-182s.
mentions?
Blink-182 to fucking check out. They're great. All of their albums, 6 to 9. All right,
Also
you can
Hillsong.
follow me on Twitter at Viva Ladil, VIVALADIL. My number 6 was Metallica, their self-titled album. My number 7 was The Free Will and Bob Dylan by Bob Dylan. My number 8 was Living in America by The Sounds. Number 9, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Number 10 was
choice.
Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. You can find a link in the show description to a Spotify playlist I made with all 10 albums. Put it on shuffle. It's great. I've been doing it the last couple days. Woo!
Thank you, everyone. This has been episode 26.
Where
Good
can
luck
people find
and
you,
good
Nick?
night.
Where can people find you, Nick?
People can find me everywhere.
Everywhere.
In your hearts. If you search inside yourself, you will find you.
But only if you have a beard. If you don't have a beard, you don't know who Nick Pryor is.
This August on the Explosion Network. If you want more of this good stuff, check us out every week on podcast services and YouTube. Pleasure Explosion, the original Explosion pod, goes up every Monday. Our PlayStation podcast, Platinum Explosion, hits on Tuesdays. And we get into some sports discussion with grandstand gurus each and every Thursday. Make sure to keep up with explosionnetwork.com for all the latest content, including weekly stream schedules, reviews and reacts, plus our Game of Thrones reaction show, South of King's Landing. Plat plat.
Nick's show.
We'll find out.
He's got it. I have complete
Yeah.
faith.
This is
I
going
have
to be
some-
the best
Gotta have
episode
faith.
ever. This is going to be the best.
You gotta have faith. Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody
got a body like me.
Copyright strike.
Wow.